sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're all about getting you the information that matters, cutting through all the noise out there. And today we're diving straight into a story that really caught my eye from this year's NCAA tournament.
It definitely had a lot of people buzzing.
That's for sure. Arkansas's win over St. John's, which punched John Calipari's ticket back to the Sweet 16. A lot to unpack there.
Absolutely. We've got this in-depth article from ESPN laying out all the details of the game and the backstory. Really gives us a lot to work with.
So in this deep dive, I really want to understand, what does this win actually signify? Not just for Calipari, obviously, but for Arkansas's program as a whole. And honestly, the whole, the intertwined history of these two coaches, Calipari and Pitino. It's fascinating.
There are so many layers to this story, that's for sure.
All right, so let's start with the game itself. Arkansas comes in as a 10 seed. They upset the 2 seed St. John's with a final score of 75-66. Looking at that on paper, it's a pretty big upset. Definitely an upset on paper, but when you dig into the game, it was a real battle. It was a really physical, tough game back and forth. The article highlights a few standout performances for Arkansas.
That always makes a difference in these tight games.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You've got Billy Richmond III. He had 16 points, 9 rebounds. He was a force on both ends of the court. Real hustle, you could tell. Then you had Karter Knox. He added 15 points of his own. And most importantly, I think, he shot 9 for 11 from the free throw line. That's clutch in a close game like that.
Right.
And then Janelle Davis chipped in with 13 points.
So it sounds like a pretty balanced attack, not just relying on one guy to carry the load.
Exactly. And that's what you often see in tournament wins. You need that kind of team effort to pull off an upset.
And I imagine going into a game like that as the underdog against a team like St. John's, the mental side of things has got to be, a huge factor. The article mentions Calipari's message to the team before the game. He said, "How about we give ourselves a chance to make some magic? Let's go fight like heck, play free and loose, and whatever happens, happens." So what do you make of that? What's he doing there with that kind of message?
I think he's trying to take the pressure off. Being the lower seed, going up against a team that's on paper supposed to beat you, it's easy to get caught up in those expectations and play tight. So he's saying, forget about all that. Just go out there and play your game, leave it all on the court.
Maybe, just maybe, some magic happens.
Right. And, considering the way their season had gone up to that point, that message probably resonated even more with the players.
Oh, for sure. And this Sweet 16 appearance, that's not just any win for Calipari, This is his 16th trip to the Sweet 16. That's going to put him in some pretty rare company.
It definitely does. Think about it. He joins Lon Kruger as the only coaches to ever lead 4 different schools to the Sweet 16. UMass, Memphis, Kentucky, and now Arkansas. That's a pretty incredible track record. Shows you he can win with different types of players, different systems, different programs. It's remarkable.
And I think what's even more remarkable is the context of this particular run with Arkansas. The article talks about how they started the season 0-5 in the SEC. And the SEC, let's be real, is a beast of a conference. On top of that, they had some significant injuries to key players. A.D. Thiero, Boogie Fland. How did they manage to turn things around so dramatically?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? To go from such a tough start to the Sweet 16 is just a huge testament to their resilience and to the coaching staff. Calipari even said himself, this is as rewarding a year as I have had based on how far we have come.
I bet. Especially after his time at Kentucky, which, the article mentions those recent disappointments in March. They missed the tournament one year, the upset loss to that 15 seed, another early exit. And Kentucky, that's a program with a ton of pressure, so those results had to sting.
Oh, definitely. And the article actually calls it a flurry of March infamy, which, that's not exactly what you want your legacy to be. That narrative played a role in him leaving Kentucky and coming to Arkansas. So this Sweet 16 run, it's not just about Arkansas. It's about Calipari. It's about him starting fresh at a new program and proving that he can still win at this level. I think there's a strong redemption arc there.
Absolutely. But how do you keep a team after that start focused, believing they can actually turn it around? The article brings up Bruiser Flint, the assistant coach who's been with Calipari for years, and he said Calipari kept telling the guys they were going to be the most improved team in the country.
And they did it. It's just incredible. And Flint actually went on to say, and I'm quoting here, he kept telling the guys to believe we're going to be the most improved team in the country. And we did that. Your time will come, and we're going to need you, and just be ready. And he just kept preaching that, and that's a big reason why we're here right now. I think that's a really powerful statement. Shows you that Calipari never gave up on them.
And that kind of belief can be contagious.
Oh, absolutely. When you've got a coach who believes in you that much, who has that kind of unwavering faith, I think that can really inspire players to push themselves harder.
We also get some insight from one of the players, DJ Wagner. He talks about Calipari's passion, how much he wants the team to win. And he says it's all out of love, that he genuinely cares for them. He even says Calipari deserves everything. That's a pretty strong endorsement from a player, especially during a season with so many ups and downs.
Yeah, that player buy-in is so important. When the guys on the court feel that connection with their coach, that trust and respect, it makes a world of difference. And I think Wagner's comments really show that Calipari has created that kind of environment at Arkansas.
And it's interesting, too, to hear Calipari's own self-awareness. He says he hopes his career is seen through the lens of a hard-driving, competitive coach. He's not shying away from that image.
Exactly. And he says, I am who I am. Like it or not, this is who I am and how I deal with kids. I think that's him acknowledging that his intensity, his drive, it's part of who he is, and he believes it brings out the best in his players.
So we've talked a lot about Calipari, but we can't forget about the other coach in this matchup. It was Rick Pitino and St. John's. That alone added so much intrigue to this game. The article even calls it a matchup with extra sizzle. So why was this particular coaching battle so significant?
Well, for one thing, you've got two Hall of Famers going head-to-head. Two coaches with very different personalities, different styles, but both with incredibly successful track records. And that's before you even get into their shared history, you know, the personal connections. I mean, that's a story that even casual basketball fans could get into.
Oh, absolutely. And you could definitely tell it was a big deal by the people in the stands. I mean, Spike Lee was there, Brad Stevens, William Wesley. It was a star-studded event.
It really was. And the article highlights this fascinating detail about their shared Italian heritage. They talk about the upside-down pineapple symbol, which is prominent in Providence's Federal Hill neighborhood. It's a symbol of abundance and quality in Italian culture. A nice little cultural tie-in there.
That is a cool detail. And speaking of Providence, that city has this really interesting connection to both of their careers. Pitino obviously had that legendary Final Four run with Providence College back in '87. And then Calipari's defining moment, his Final Four with UMass in '96, well, that run actually started in Providence. It's crazy how things come full circle like that.
It really is. And the article tells this great story about how, after that '96 win, Calipari walked to the post-game press conference with Chris Humm, and then for this recent game against Pitino, Humm wore a pineapple tie to commemorate that moment. It's like a tangible link between their past and present.
It really makes you think about all the ways our past experiences shape the present, even in something like a basketball game.
Right, and it goes deeper than that. I mean, the article points out how both Calipari and Pitino have faced their share of adversity, run-ins with the NCAA, tough stints in the NBA, but they've both come back from those challenges and found success again. I think that shared experience adds another layer to their rivalry, maybe even a sense of mutual respect.
It's like they've both been through the fire and come out stronger on the other side.
Exactly. And in a way, the NCAA tournament itself is kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
It's all about survival. You win, you advance, you lose, you go home. And it doesn't matter what happened in the regular season. It's all about what you do in those moments.
So looking ahead, Arkansas's next challenge is a tough one. The article mentions they're facing the 3-seed Texas Tech in the Sweet 16.
That's a huge step up in competition. Texas Tech's a really well-coached, disciplined team. It's going to be a battle.
And it's worth noting that this is the furthest a Calipari-coached team has gone in the tournament since 2019. That Kentucky team made it to the Elite Eight. So this is a chance for Arkansas, with Calipari at the helm, to really make a statement, to show that they belong.
For sure. And to continue this incredible turnaround story.
Yeah.
I mean, to go from where they were at the start of the season to potentially making a deep run in the tournament, that would be pretty special.
So just to recap, we've got Arkansas, a 10 seed, defying the odds, overcoming a tough start to the season. They're led by John Calipari, who himself is on a journey of redemption after leaving Kentucky. They pull off a big upset against Rick Pitino and St. John's in a game that was full of history and drama. It's a win that signifies resilience, the power of belief, and the unpredictable nature of March Madness. It really shows you that anything is possible in this tournament.
I completely agree. And, this whole story, with all its unexpected twists and turns, the intertwined careers of these two coaching giants, the connection to Providence, it really makes you think. If something as seemingly simple as a basketball game can reveal these deeper layers of meaning, these unexpected connections to the past, then what other improbable journeys out there are waiting to be uncovered? What other hidden stories are shaping the world around us? It's a question worth pondering.
That's a great point. Sometimes we just have to look a little deeper to find the real significance. So for all of you out there listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep an eye out for those surprising connections that reveal the true depth of a story, because you never know what you might find. Until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're Bobby doll. Show them